I call this meeting to order of the Saginaw Planning Commission, September 26, 2023. Could we please have the roll call?
Commissioner Bland.
Present.
Commissioner Zawerko. Commissioner Faust.
Here.
Commissioner Clock.
Here.
Commissioner Lamar.
Here.
Commissioner Milne.
Here.
Commissioner Moore.
Here.
Commissioner Nash.
Here.
Commissioner Ostash.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Our first order of business is approval of the minutes from the June 27th, 2023 meeting. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at the minutes?
Move to approve.
Subject to corrections? Anyone with
Second.
corrections?
I
Moved
have-
and,
One correction,
all right.
page 2, the last paragraph, Battle Creek is 2 words.
We'll correct that in the record.
And I have-
All right.
I appreciate being thought of personally, but at the bottom of page 1, probably should be last name instead of first name.
Mr. Floyd Hall.
And also on the second page, Commission Faust, I don't think he's the entire commission. That's in the, right in the middle. Motion by Commission Faust, it should be Commission, obviously.
I miss
Unless you want to really be responsible here.
No.
Oh, and right below that, you should be commissioner
Yep,
also.
I got them both circled. So.
Okay. You thought you got a promotion, huh?
Yeah.
Good thing you
That's
guys
all.
read these.
It's proof we read them. That's all I have.
If there are no other corrections, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? The minutes are approved. Next order of business, approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or comments to the agenda as we have it?
So move. Support.
Moved and supported to approve the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? The agenda has been approved. Next item is new business. We have before us a public hearing, J23-0201, a special use permit site plan review for the proposed city-owned water tower on 702 Weber and 605 Cambry. I know there's a script somewhere where I tell people about they can speak at the public hearing. The presenter is allowed 10 minutes to present, and then anyone who wishes to speak is allowed 3 minutes. Mr. Golan? Oh, what I was missing. Okay. Good evening. I'm the chairman. This is a regular meeting of the City Planning Commission. When your special use permit site plan is request you are interested in is called, please come forward to the podium. Give your name and address to the secretary for the record. After the appellant's presentation, others may comment. The meeting is videotaped, so it is important that only one person speak at a time and the audience observe respect for the speaker. An affirmative vote of the majority of the members present is necessary to grant a petition, special land use or site plan permit. Recommendations on all petitions made by the commission are then forwarded to the city council. Are there any questions? If not, well, we've had the roll call. Did we do that again for the hearing? No, I didn't think so. The purpose of this is to address the commission with regard to the subject of the hearing, not other topics. Speakers shall address their remarks to the commission as a whole and not to individual commission members, city staff, or the audience. The applicant whose application is the subject of the hearing shall be the main presenter and will be allowed 10 minutes for their presentation. Each additional speaker commenting on this subject of the meeting will be limited to 3 minutes. Is there anyone here to comment on this case?
And that would be me. Good evening, Commissioners. First off, my name is Mike Greenier. I am your Director of Water and Wastewater Treatment Services for the City of Saginaw. And what you have before you for your approval is the site plan for our new water tower. Very excited about this. This will be a major addition and improvement for our water system. Right now, if we lose power, we have 5 to 8 minutes to get our generators running before I lose pressure in the system. We lose pressure in the system, we go to a boiled water notice, I get fired, it makes my wife sad, and a lot of bad things happen. So this is a significant improvement. I've been in the water industry for 30-some years. I've never managed to break gravity. I've broken generators, things don't work. I've had a sailboat take out power on me once. That's a great story. But this is what this elevated storage will do for you. It's a 3 million gallon storage tank. It'll buy us approximately 2 hours in the summer. And 2 hours is enough time for us to figure out what's going on, get some help out on site, make some plans, make some changes, and get things up and going so that our bad day doesn't become your bad day, which is kind of our goal in life. We have bad days all the time. I'd be happy to tell you all about them, but our goal is not to have you know we had a bad day. So the water's always coming out of the tap, hygiene, health, fire protection. You'll notice as you go through the site plan, we've got a few different things on there. We've got a state revolving grant for this project for $18 million. This would be a difficult lift for us to do inside our rates. If you figure about $250,000 a percent, you do the math. I'd have to have Yolanda do the math for me. But that turns into a significant rate increase. So being able to take advantage of this money that the state has out there for us right now to make it a significant improvement to the system. Inside some of the plans, you'll see that we've got sort of an homage to the current treatment plant, which is absolutely gorgeous and very intimidating to take care of, where we're going to do some molding around what could be windows and things like that, so it kind of looks a little bit like the plant. And then same thing, we'll model the fencing around the plant after what you got down the street here. So we're trying to stay true to the plant, try to stay true to the city. People really reached out back in the day and did a beautiful job with your current treatment plant. We're trying to do a beautiful job with our new water tower. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Is that the next thing we do? No, I didn't think so.
No, you'll just sit down and then we'll close the public hearing.
Okay.
Then they can talk to you.
Yes, first we do the public hearing part. All right, that is the main presenter. Is there anyone who wishes to comment on this project? Anyone who wishes to publicly comment on the project during the public hearing? Anyone who wants to make a comment during the public hearing portion of this meeting? I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move more.
We have a battle. One moved, the other second.
It don't matter.
It's been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Then we have, make sure I get this right. Okay, we will entertain a motion now to approve the project as presented, and then we may have discussion.
I make a motion to approve the project as presented.
Second,
Been
Ostash.
moved and seconded to approve the special use permit in case number J230201. Do commissioners have questions at this time?
I do.
Commissioner Moore.
Mr. Mike, is this kitty corner? I'm trying to picture where it's going. Is that kitty corner to the Y in that big open field?
No, ma'am. Farther down the street, somebody from town's gonna have to help me out a little bit better than that.
It's very close to the Jesse Rouse Elementary School.
It's on the east side of South
I know,
Washington.
I just seen all that open space and I
No,
thought
and
it
then,
was-
and
That's where
to
the Derby
speak to
Downs
that,
was.
it gets into the flood zones.
Right, well, I knew it did, and that's what I was gonna ask. Ain't that the flood zone? Okay.
Yes, that's why we didn't put it there.
Okay, that.
Or one of the
thank you.
reasons why we didn't put it
Thank you,
there.
you answered my question.
This was the former Derby Downs site. if you're
Right.
familiar where that is.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that, but I just seen the open space, the
Yeah.
trees, and all I could think of was the corner of Rush and whatever that street is, and I'm like, that's the flood zone. So, thank you.
Mr. Clark.
Yes, thank you. I definitely think this is a good idea, but I'm not satisfied, quite frankly, with the shadowing information we've been provided. The shortest day goes not from 9 AM to 3 PM, but about, or not 8 PM to 3 PM, but about 7:30 to 4 to 5. So the shadows presented here will actually be longer even on the shortest day of the year, so we'll cover more properties. It also doesn't show all the properties that will be shadowed on the longest day of the year. You do have shadowing then, and that will actually be some properties far further to the south than these are showing here, correct?
Correct.
And and as your day gets toward evening, those shadows get really long. So everyone needs to realize this shadowing is gonna be much more than what we see here, than what's been depicted in the photographs.
Correct. We tried to model some shadowing to describe it. Did we capture everything? I'm sure
Well, I
we
think
did
the
not.
commission and everyone would need to be aware that the shadowing is gonna be much more than this. It won't be long on any one house, might be an hour, half an hour, a short period, but it will be there. And, we don't have a count of the number of houses that will be shadowed at any given time. Is that done?
No, we did not. We ran the model on the shadowing, and that's what we were able to give you. We can go ahead.
All the residents in the all potential shadowing areas given notice of the hearing.
The notice, I'd have to throw back to,
that we just followed the law, and that was the 300 feet around all the property.
So really, all the houses that could be shadowed probably don't have notice. Safe to say?
I don't know if
At least
that-
most of them,
I don't
right?
know if that's necessarily true.
Well, there's some of them would have been within 300 feet, but most of these are farther than 300 feet that will be shadowed.
Mike,
The commission should also know that the height of the water tower did go before the Board of Appeals on zoning for a variance, and that was approved.
Well, it might be, but it's still a question of,
yes.
so, and then the other thing that has to be in consideration is the location of water lines in the city and vacant property that's available to even
I'm
avoid
not,
any shadowing.
I'm not trying to stop the project, okay? I will vote to approve it, but my concern is you're gonna end up potentially with people coming afterwards and saying, we weren't given notice, what's going on? Just to be aware, that's something that is a potential issue that this doesn't address. We can approve it with what we've got, but I am concerned that there's a lot of people who might be affected by this that have no knowledge that they're gonna be shadowed.
Understood.
Commissioner
So,
Moore.
okay, I see how it looks. It's gonna light up, is that what this is about?
Oh, no, he's referring to the straight shadow. So if you put up a 160-foot tall tower, which is what we're doing, somebody on the other side, between the sun and the tower, if that's your backyard, you may encounter a shadow from the stand.
Okay, okay.
The lighting on it will just be strictly for aircraft, the stuff that we legally have to throw up on top.
Commissioner Nash.
This is for staff or anybody. Why are there two addresses? Why is Cambry?
Well, because,
Because
the
it's not
zoning
gonna-
ordinance requires that it be a certain percentage of the total lot area, not to exceed the area, and so if we just use the one parcel, we would be over the 5% allotment, so we combine the two.
kind of like having too many accessories, houses, garages on your property, right? So many, you can only have so much on so many square feet.
Yeah, that's not a good example, but I get your gist.
Yep.
I got one more question.
Commissioner Moore.
So, is this tower gonna be gated?
Oh, yes,
Where the neighborhood
yes,
keep-
yeah, oh, yeah, there'll be a fence, it'll be very similar to what we have around the water plant right now. Gated, there'll be some cameras to monitor our gates and doors, but not facing out. And then with some yard lighting, just again for we can see if somebody's trying to climb over the fence. But again, we're trying not to make an impact on the neighborhood, trying to keep it so we protect what we have, but we don't have an interest in being any bigger or brighter than we have to be.
No, I asked because I know that there's children still in that area.
Oh, most certainly, and we don't
So
need
I didn't
them
want
fooling
them to
around
go-
inside that tank.
Right, I didn't want
Yes,
them
yes,
to be
ma'am.
going up and maybe something go crazy, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions I have? Mr. Ostash, Commissioner Ostash.
Yeah, quick question. So I can see where the drive comes off, you drive back to the tower, but if you're driving in, it shows something to the left. I'm trying to figure out what that is. There's a bunch of, it would be on page 8. It almost looks like lake elevation. And I can kind of help point it out to you. It's right there.
So retention,
That's the hill.
The retention pond?
Is that a retention pond?
hill.
Oh, no, that's the actual, that's the hill from the dirt.
Oh, okay, all right.
Drive out that parcel, you'll see a little bump.
Yep.
That's that little bump.
Yeah, the reason why I ask is if the public's watching, these are really, I mean, this is like a 2 font. So we try to see it. Thank you.
Any other commissioners? And I had a couple questions. Yeah, I was going to ask about that also. So that feature, if it could be called that, is going to be kept?
Yes.
Okay. I see the fencing plan is obviously the immediate area of the water tower.
Correct.
Are there any other than, it looks like a few landscape trees, the larger area, since it's included in the project, any major changes
No,
to that?
we plan on doing nothing to that.
Okay.
The only major work we'd be doing on site would be the overflow, and if you look off the back of that drawing, you'll see a triangle, and all that is cemented in rocks,
Yes.
which is also not very large.
Okay.
And we'll keep,
And it will be inside the fence.
There's not a complete legend for what's on the plan here. There's something outside the fenced area that looks like a fence line. What is that? Utilities of some sort?
I guess,
It kind of follows, yeah, it kind of follows the outline of what's being built, but I don't know what that is without a full legend. Is there existing fencing? I don't see any.
There's arrows, that's the length, isn't it?
yeah, no, I believe that's just the site.
The length of the fence.
That's just, yeah, there's no fence around there or anything.
No, that's what I was trying to figure out, what this is depicting to us.
The east-west is 146 feet,
Could be the lot line.
and can't make out the other one. It's in two different sections, looks like
No, this doesn't have dimensions,
211 or something.
but this seems to mirror a fence design.
The one with the boxes on it? The squares?
Yeah, little white squares. They're spaced as if they represent something.
That is that gonna be the ornamental fence?
No, the ornamental fence is the black,
The black
the
line.
heavy black
It's just
line.
for posts.
So what is the other one?
Yeah, that's all I was wondering. It doesn't appear to connect on either end. Are we putting a privacy fence behind the
Oh,
housing?
goodness, no. No, we
Okay.
wouldn't be putting anything in except for the security fence that will be
Right.
installed, decorative security fence.
Just a curiosity then, I guess. It's not, there's no requirement for anything other than the fencing proposed.
No,
Okay.
no, nor would we
Okay.
want to take care of anything else that way.
Right, okay, I just don't know what that one is. I don't have any other questions then. Any other commissioners? Any additional questions?
The tank itself, how does it hold up to bullets?
I have not asked our engineer that, but that said, You're holding 3 million gallons of water up in the air. I'm not going to guess what the thickness of steel is on that, nor would like the good people of Saginaw to test it for me. But it will be very beefy. It's, to say that that will be heavily constructed is an understatement. That's millions and millions of pounds of water. I'm going to need a lot of steel up there to hold that in.
If the bullet hits it and goes through, you have a pretty strong stream of water coming out.
Yes, I'll go with that as my answer.
Yeah.
If we have no other questions, we have a motion with a second to approve the special use permit and proposed site plan for 702 Weber, 605 Cambry. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We are now at the regular public comment period for this meeting. I see no members of the public who wish to comment on any of our activity. Do we have any old business? Anything that's been set aside?
I just got a question.
Commissioner,
I know that I've been talking back and forth with Bob. So I guess this would be new business because some citizens were asking, well, we gonna put a cap on our establishment?
Oh,
Well, we gonna put a cap on the amount
for marijuana?
for pot.
for the marijuana stuff,
Marijuana.
I'm sorry.
That would be a policy decision made by the city council. The planning commission simply reviews the site plans.
Okay.
At the time the ordinance was adopted, the ordinance restricts where the facilities can be located and how close those facilities can be located to each other and
Right.
other sensitive uses. So in that manner, you know, they are limited.
Well, no, the reason why I asked is because if they got this concerned about this daycare on State Street and the one that's gonna open by Ugly Fish. Oh, that's the name of the restaurant, ain't it? I hope I ain't saying it wrong.
No, it's neither of it.
That's it.
Okay,
That-
so you know, right there where the 7-Eleven used to
So
be.
daycares are not part of the sensitive use list, though.
I think they heard the word school and they heard daycare and they're like, it's daycare, it shouldn't even be there. And I'm like, well,
With that question about a limit on the number, I'm just going to use this as an opportunity to mention, and our council could elaborate if we need to. Everything that we who were on city council at the time predicted, if you put a limit and then had to institute an application process or a lottery, has come true in Menominee, Michigan, where they did limit it. They had an application process, and everyone who lost immediately sued the city. And then after they settled that suit, perhaps very wrongly, then the people who had the licenses sued the city after that then. So they are not yet out of litigation, and the question is the legality of anyone's site at the moment.
That holds true in several communities that put.
Well, that's, that one I saw recently
limitations into
mentioned.
place. I
So-
know of several other cities
Yeah.
that are facing that same.
So I,
it's just a question. I said I'd ask.
Yeah.
no, that's fine. I just thought it was an opportune time to mention our council and our city council, our council to the council. It gave us very good advice in that regard.
Yeah, I can make a comment on this too, because I know other cities that have gone with unlimited, no setbacks, and the cities are saturated with like liquor stores. So I think Saginaw did a really good job. But Commissioner Moore, I can understand, because I get this question from the city's residents too, and I think we have about 7 operating in the city, 7, 8.
There's more now.
Yeah, and I actually, again, like I live by one, and if anybody's watching, you really don't even know they're there. It's pretty quiet. But then we get other complaints too, because, and it's not just Saginaw. I mean, I was just in Chicago, and even riding the subways, there's a smell. You know, so it's, I think it was a double-edged sword, but thanks for bringing the question, so.
Commissioner Clark.
I want to make a brief comment also. I agree that not putting the limit probably was a good way, but quite honestly, I'd be curious how many applicants have received waivers of those distance requirements. Because that's sort, you know, if we think we've got a potential cap based on limitations and then we give them exceptions, which has happened, you really don't have much of a limit. It's there, but not always there. So that's something we have to understand as well.
Right, so I'd like to comment on that too, because in those two instances, because of the way our provisioning licenses are in the ordinance, the P and L was given and then approved, and then because you have to have a legal business license from the city in order to have the setback kick in, then the other business came along, they got their provisioning license, caused a due hardship on the first person, and therefore the variance was given. I think that's the way the ZBA looked at it, and I think that they didn't look at it that way. I'm not an attorney, but there could be a different legal situation for the city if they try to deny a setback, so.
I think we had a unique situation when the entire process opened up and everybody applied at the same time.
Yeah.
And since then, since it's been in place for a couple of years, I believe I think there's been at least one denial
Yeah.
There has
of
been
a
one denial.
later
Right.
attempt to build next to or too close to within the setback of an existing and operating facility.
And I've
So
seen.
I think that's,
There's been at least one denial.
yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen the provisioning licenses issued, especially for the one on Michigan, the old gas station there, and it's just never really taken off. I think they fall through, and their 1 year is up, and we move on.
It's one of those unique situations where it's, when
Yeah.
the ordinance went into effect, there were people waiting outside in line to come into City Hall to apply.
Like any new thing, it's up, and now we've kind of tapered off. I can't even remember the last time we've had an application, so.
There will be a few coming.
Oh, okay. Well, and then again, let's see where the process goes within that first year, so, okay. Good conversation.
Anyone else with comment from the commissioners? I think we will entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh,
I'll
staff,
move more.
question.
So I just wanted to point out, we're in the process, as part of our master plan process, to look at zoning within the city in terms of trying to encourage development. And so we have put a request for proposals out for firms to help us rewrite our zoning ordinance. And we're in the process of negotiating with a company that I think you'll be very pleased with if we can make that all work. So within the few months or so, we'll introduce them to you and probably have some sort of a joint session with the city council, the Board of Appeals on zoning, and you folks to kick off that process.
Sounds very interesting, thank you. Anything else? A motion to adjourn would be apropos.
So move more.
Second.
Been moved and multiply seconded. All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
All opposed?